and welcome back to the studio. Today I wanted to share what I've been up to in my winter journal class. I had my last class this week and I thought I'd share some student work and my handmade winter journal, which I love. And then just a few other journal spreads that I wanted to share, my Rothko-ish spreads. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So I thought I would start with a winter journal, the class that I just finished teaching, and I wanted to share some of my student work. We did a lot of jelly printing and creating spreads and thinking about themes and color palettes, and we did some artist studies. And these are just some of the journals that they created. And one of my favorite things is looking at each journal and then seeing how each student interprets the lessons in their own way. And you can see here that each one of them are just really different. Just amazing. I was just really, really amazed with what they came up with. And it was a very, very enjoyable class. So here is my winter journal. I will often create a journal or journal spreads or both when I am teaching a class. Some of this I will prepare beforehand, and then some of it I will do alongside of my students. So here is my journal with some pockets, and I created some artist studies and then went on to create some spreads inside of the journal. Some of them are based off of landscapes here in North Carolina, or they're based off of morning walks that I take. I chose this color palette of kind of like these olivey greens and a little bit of yellows, just a tiny bit of like an aqua color. And you'll see that throughout the journal. So, like I said, I have some landscapey things in here, some spreads that kind of recall or reminiscent of my morning walks when I take a walk with Charlie every morning. These are all mixed media pages and spreads that include collage and paint and some colored pencil and some oil pastels and other things. One of the artist studies that we looked at was Rothko. I really love his work because I just love to play with different color combinations, even though I know that that was not his main preoccupation. His main preoccupation was in getting the viewer to feel something when they saw his work, and by creating these large, expansive color field paintings, that was what he hoped to do, was to kind of have them immerse themselves in the paintings and have some kind of feeling. But for me, I just really enjoy seeing how many never-ending combinations you can make with a specific color palette, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then I made this other landscape that is kind of a combination of my mixed media and a Rothko-ish. This is a collaged piece that I painted over. So started off with all collage. I thought to maybe leave it all collage, but then I couldn't help myself and I did paint over top of that. These are seed pods that I gathered from my walks and then created a spread based off of those seed pods. And on the next spread, I created a painting, a mixed media painting that was inspired by these seed pods as well. And then you'll see towards the end, there are just a few pages that I have left blank for, I guess, the next few weeks. I can go back and paint in them and create a few more spreads. Or I can just leave them until next year and fill those in at another time. But I think I'm going to try to complete that in the next couple of weeks. So alongside my winter journal, I thought I'd share some of my Rothko studies. I call them like my Rothko-ish studies. I've been creating these for a while now. I just like to play with different color combinations. This is one of the first ones I ever created with collage and some other media to make a wintry kind of scene that had a Rothko feel. This is in another one of my winter journals that I went back to this year to play with the color combinations and the color palette that I was going to use in my winter journal. And I just really enjoy layering different materials and, like I said before, finding different combinations to just explore and to see how many different ways I can interpret these colors and these rectangles on different journals and with different materials. So for instance, here I have just these colored pencil studies, and sometimes I'll use a little bit of wax crayon or oil pastel, and I just really enjoy creating these. And I also really enjoyed learning more about Rothko, just really delving into his life and understanding more his process for creating his work. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Okay, bye.